What's up, Barnhill family, and welcome back to the channel.
Yeah.
So there's an interesting alliance forming right now between Darren Till and Khamzat Chimaev. We just saw some footage of them training together back in Sweden. Seems like Khamzat's little stint at Tiger Muay Thai out in Thailand is over, and he's back at his home gym training. Darren Till, in my opinion, couldn't be training and working with a better guy. He did look a little bit out of shape, but he said, "Hey guys, I've been off for a couple months. Give me a break here." But I think if anybody can help Darren fill in the gaps in his game, it is Khamzat for sure. And if Khamzat wants to test himself at a guy who's potentially top 5 to top 10 at 185 and see how he fares against them, I think this is a great test there. So I like this alliance.
Yeah, I think this is really smart on Darren's part. There's tons of great strikers and boxers in particular over in the UK. I mean, you've got literally some of the best Queensberry boxers in the world and heavyweights and all that stuff. And then you've got in MMA, there's tons of great fighters. Michael Bisping, I mean, he was always known as a pace guy who had great hands and great kicks and everything like that. But wrestling is not their forte over there.
Yeah.
They really don't represent very much as far as wrestling and grappling and jiu-jitsu as of right now. It's growing over time, but it will be a long time before they catch up to people like Dagestan and Chechnya and all these Brazil.
Yeah.
So it's wise for him to go to Sweden and meet some of those guys because that's where some of the toughest dudes, and especially Khamzat Chimaev, one of the hottest prospects, hottest names in the entire sport is right now. So while it's really great on the X's and O's and the training aspects, it's also really smart as a media play because Darren Till is now getting some face time with one of the biggest names in the sport. I mean, 4 fights into the UFC, he's already talked about more than anybody else. We know from running a YouTube channel exactly how popular this guy is.
I'm telling you.
And there's a reason we do videos on him as often as he's in the news because they tend to do well for us. And I think that Darren Till is moving in the right direction. Looks like he needs a few months to get himself back in shape. But I really like the alliance. I think that Darren Till is giving Khamzat Chimaev good looks as far as the striking goes, and he gets to feel what it's like to be at 185. So, while he bounces back and forth between the two divisions, if he's game planning on kind of moving into a 185 frame and a 205 frame later in his career, this is a perfect teammate for him to train with.
I think so. And I think Darren Till's always been a really, really gifted striker and a very exciting fighter to watch. But in my personal opinion, he's lacked at certain times in the discipline area.
Yeah.
And that's shown with a couple of tough weight cuts and things like that, and move up to 185. He is a big boy, though, so I think he's more of a natural 185er. But Khamzat is discipline personified. He is, if you believe what Alexander Gustafsson says, he's in the gym 5 times a day. He lives there, I believe. I don't know if that's still his sleeping arrangement. He probably has enough money to get his own place now, but he basically lives at the gym and has slept there for many, many years. He is the most disciplined, or certainly one of the most disciplined fighters in the entire organization and in the entire sport of MMA as a whole. And so I think this is a great learning opportunity for Darren Till to see, hey, this guy shot up out of nowhere, and it's not for no reason. Here's what he's doing. And maybe Darren Till, because I think he is still one of the most marketable fighters in the league, certainly at 185. And if he can string together a few wins, we know Izzy's calling for fresh blood. We know Jared Cannonier is probably going to be next, and a big part of that is because he's fresh blood. This could be preparing Darren Till to have a bit of a resurgence in his career. I know Sean Strickland's calling him out. I think Khamzat might be the secret recipe to help him get a win over somebody like Strickland.
Yeah, and they threw Darren Till to the wolves very early in his career, and I mean, he was fighting for titles, instantly.
Yeah.
He had a meteoric rise like a Khamzat, maybe not quite as fast as the Connors and the Brock Lesnar's and the Khamzat Chimaevs, but nobody does that. So Darren Till was right there in that next tier as far as fastest movers up the rankings, and they just gave him a little bit too much too early. But if I could see anybody in the UFC right now that could have a second and a resurgence and a second climb towards the top, Darren Till's probably at the top of the list. He's got a fresh coat of paint at 185. Of course, he hasn't been getting his way as far as getting his hand raised in the last few fights, but I think with the right training partners, with the right game plans, Darren Till could wind up becoming another contender once again at 185, and aligning himself with Khamzat Chimaev is a very smart thing to do because if he can figure out at least 1/10 of the knowledge and the skills that Khamzat Chimaev has with the ground and pound and the takedowns and grappling, then we're looking at an even scarier Darren Till.
Yeah, for sure. And this is great for Khamzat too, make no mistake. When they're sparring, Darren Till throws powerful straight punches down the pipe, and Khamzat will have to work his timing to shoot for takedowns. And if we're going to see, everybody's talking about Khamzat Chimaev as the biggest threat for Israel Adesanya. Israel Adesanya is very long. He throws very crisp and very clean punches right down the middle. He kicks you in the leg to try to exhaust that front leg so that you can't shoot as effectively. I think Darren Till might be as good a training partner as you can get. Now, I understand his style is different than Izzy's, but he's long, he's powerful, and his straight punches are very good. So Khamzat might be able to really work on his timing, his creativity in the shots, because we know if Khamzat gets Izzy down in a ground and pound sort of situation, it's going to be a very bad night for the champ. But Izzy showed us he's very tough to get down, and he uses strikes as his main takedown defense. So Darren Till might be the guy that can help Khamzat sort of get that timing, get those looks, and do what he needs to do to take on Izzy. And I know I'm getting way ahead of myself, but look, here's the reality. Khamzat Chimaev's fighting Gilbert Burns, the number 2 guy in the world, in April. I think Khamzat's going to win that fight. And once he wins that fight, if I'm correct in my assumption, there's nowhere else besides Kamaru Usman after that. And then if he beats Kamaru, he's going for champ status. Let's just be honest. Khamzat Chimaev, this is an unstoppable train at this point.
Yeah, and he's definitely one of those fighters that wants to ruffle some feathers. And you know how Izzy and Kamaru are so tight, and they're kind of a group, and they're not going to fight each other as long as they're both champions. And maybe there will be a champ move for Kamaru if Izzy's ever not the champion. But maybe a rematch with Khamzat Chimaev if he takes Kamaru's belt and then goes up and takes Izzy's belt.
Yeah.
Who knows? We can't see into the future, but I know the future for Khamzat Chimaev has a lot of title fights in it and possibly a few belts. So I can't wait to see what him and Darren Till come up with, because I do think there's a lot of potential benefits for both of them to get out of this training.
Indeed. Guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Drop us a comment below and let us know what you think about this interesting new alliance in MMA. If you haven't already, we really appreciate a like on the video and a subscribe to the channel. We'll see you in the next video. Peace.